When I was a little boy, I saw soldiers from my balcony. You woke up and you had nothing left. No food, no electricity, no tap water. There were mortar shells and bombs falling on the streets. There were thugs creeping around houses and shops, killing and looting. After a year, my family escaped the city. I've been thinking about what I saw ever since. I know one thing. It might happen to anyone. War always happens at somebody's doorstep.
Hello, I am Mal, and welcome to my review and playthrough of 11-Bit Studios' This War of Mine. This War of Mine is a survival roguelike game set in a city currently under siege during a state of war, based on real-life experiences and coupled with its art style, music, sound, and story blends together to build a unique gaming experience. One of the most compelling things for me about This War of Mine are the backgrounds of the player characters. They aren't elite soldiers or some kind of survival experts, they're normal people, civilians just trying to make it. The detailed bios of each character, each with their own unique special trait, helps to flesh these images out on screen as real people. You really care about what happens. You quickly grow to want to see them survive. Pavel was a football player, or soccer for those of us that are stateside. He's lithe and has the special trait of fast runner. Bruno owned and operated a restaurant before the war. He even had his own cooking show, so it makes perfect sense he's a good cook. Marco was a firefighter. He's accustomed to digging through rubble and debris to find people, so being better at scavenging makes perfect sense. Alright, moving on to the interface. Everything's controlled with a mouse, and it's simple and intuitive. To the top left, you'll find key information, including the Our Things section. In here, you'll find a breakdown of the supplies that we currently have on hand, as well as the status of the residents and general morale. The controls themselves are all done with simple mouse clicks, with the middle mouse button serving as control for zoom level. Double-clicking a selected character will make them run to a spot or selected job, such as searching through debris or opening a door. When looting items, any information regarding said items will be displayed in the lower left-hand section of your screen. Different items have varying stack sizes and generally range from 2 to 10. This is important to note for nighttime when you go scavenging out in the world. You're never going to be able to take everything along with you. You really have to pick and choose, and when we actually go out to do the nighttime scavenging, I'll show you this in more detail. The game does an excellent job from the start of compelling you. Some people are tired, hurt, sick, cold, and so on. They'll mutter things from time to time, talking about the heat or that they're hungry, prompting you to take some kind of action. But the game doesn't hold your hand either, which is something I really appreciate. As an example, right now, the temperature's like 16, 17 degrees Celsius. Okay, maybe that's not too cold, it's around 62 degrees Fahrenheit, but wouldn't it be better if it was around 22 degrees Celsius or 72 degrees Fahrenheit? So that means making a heater pretty important. And I'll show you that via the workshop in just a moment. I send Marco, Pavel, and Bruno to do various tasks while I try to keep each active and try to bear in mind that night is coming. Trying to get all of the characters moving around and doing something productive at the same time is a little bit of a challenge. Concerned that night's about to be upon us, I move to the workshop and start crafting some basic needs. Now, I'm certainly not an expert at this game yet, but I've played a bit, and it seems logical essentials are what you should focus on first. Namely, a simple heater, a crude stove for cooking, and fuel for said heater. When night comes, you're going to have to come up with a plan. And this is when things get pretty interesting. You're going to have to think about, who do I send out to scavenge? Does anyone need to get rest? Do we set someone to watch over the place? Do we need a guard? Well, I've played a little bit before putting together this review, and I would tell you not putting someone to guard can definitely be problematic. You can be raided and lose supplies, or even worse. So we finish up putting down our simple heater, and note that you can place these, generally speaking, wherever you want. We set that down, and we continue on. I have a little bit of time left before nightfall, not much, so I just finish up clearing some debris and trying to loot everything that I can possibly get to in the residence. Some things are unfortunately locked behind doors, and I don't have the appropriate tools to get the things, so I'm going to need either a crowbar or lockpick or something to make that happen. Again, the game's compelling me to do new things, right? Alright, the plan for the night. Since Marco has the ability to carry more than others, it made sense to me to select him for scavenger duty. Bruno's wounded, so I thought it might be best to let him rest, and I've assigned Pavel to stand watch. Now, I take a cursory glance at the different locations, noting that they have different kinds of supplies and potentially different kinds of risk. Ultimately, I decide that the abandoned cottage is the way to go, because it seems to have quite a bit of breadth of what I want, and I'm thinking that I'll be able to get a little bit of everything that I need, in particular building supplies, medical supplies, food and water probably wouldn't be a bad idea either. So I head out. I do take the one lockpick I have, just in case I run into something that looks like there might be something good behind a locked chest or door or what have you. I begin looting right away. And this is when the game really starts to get tense. I'm prioritizing again building materials, medication, food, and then highly stackable items like sugar, which are useful for trading later on. It's also important to note that you generate sound based on movement, and your sight is tied to your vantage point. You'll see this most clearly when I head down below. You'll see the vision of my character change. Now, presumably that affects both not only what you can see, but if others can see you, so that's certainly something to bear in mind. I spend some time trying to maximize, again, what's the best to loot. And you can't take everything with you. It's quite difficult to decide what's worthwhile and what's not. I mean, I'd love to take everything, so I try to, and then I come over here to the next spot and I find something better. Now above me and to the right, perhaps you saw there's a red flashing dot that indicates a potential threat from someone else, or a sound blip for lack of a better term. I note it, but in my experience, limited as it might be, I kind of think that it's probably just a rat or a small animal and not a person. So I decide, you know what? I'm here to scavenge. I'm going to keep at it. See if I can't find something else that's useful. I managed to get some books, which are good for morale, and I decide I'm going to swap out some building materials to make that happen, as well as some cigarettes, which I guess is sort of a mixed blessing. They might help morale for your smokers, but at the same time, is that really that great for your health? I'm thinking no, but I figure I might as well take them. If nothing else, it'll be something good to trade. Again, it's really tough for me to decide. What am I gonna take? Okay, coffee? Weapon parts? Well, coffee wins over weapon parts. But quality rolled up cigarettes? Yeah, gotta take those. Some fertilizer? Yeah, that makes sense. Weapon parts. Boy, I sure would like to take these. But, I think we're just gonna have to take a pass. Alright, let's quietly go upstairs and take a look around. Hopefully I'm not wrong. Nah, it wasn't a person. Family photo of some parents and 2 daughters. It's a good thing they don't look like the father. Okay. Oh no. This is a good and bad thing. Now I've found some food. I can't leave that behind. So, again, it's a blessing that I found it, but now I'm having to figure out, well, what can I leave behind? There's just too many good things. Like this sugar here? I know I want to take some of that because I know it can trade well later. But water? Food? There's all kinds of good stuff here. And keep in mind, Marco here has more space than anyone else. I mean, this is the Scavenger Pro, right? That should give you an idea of how difficult it is to actually go out and get the supplies that you need. Alright. I'm going to check a few more things, then I'm going to look out through the keyhole to see what's going on outside, and then I'm going to head back out. This brings me to my final thoughts. In my opinion, this is a very compelling survival game. It feels different and immersive. I see myself playing it over and over again, and I would recommend this title to anyone who's a fan of survival, strategy, or roguelike games. In any case, I hope you enjoyed my look at day 1 of this war of mine, and I hope you join me for future days and upcoming videos. Please do hit the like button if you found this video worthwhile, and if this is your first time seeing one of my videos, I hope you consider subscribing. Thank you very much for watching,